Good morning, everyone. 9 a.m. and it is -6 degrees outside as the air temperature feeling even colder, though, this morning with the bitter cold wind chills. And all of the cold temperatures the past few weeks now have been driving up demand for emergency shelter services. And one of the places trying to expand efforts to help those facing homelessness is the Niagara Gospel Mission. Dozens of cots now fill a gymnasium as staff and volunteers respond to the ongoing cold snap. The mission says that it is preparing to add more space if necessary to meet growing needs. The Gospel Mission's Code Blue program gives homeless people a safe place to sleep when temperatures drop below freezing. The mission's development director says outreach efforts have intensified this winter due to sustained cold weather.
We want to make sure that we are getting folks in off the street and we are helping them in any way that we can. So we take a van out instead of once a night this year. You know, we've been going out 3-4 times a day looking for folks just because it is so cold right now.
The shelter says the need for community support remains urgent this morning, with outreach efforts always continuing around the clock. It's located on Portage Road in Niagara Falls. And for more weather updates, you can download our 2 On Your Side app. We've got the 7-day forecast, live radar, and much more free to download on the App Store and Google Play. And we'll have Patrick's forecast coming up in just a few minutes. And an update now about a disturbing story out of the city of Buffalo. A city spokesperson confirms that a 4-year-old child was shot on the 1900 block of Bailey Avenue sometime after 2 p.m. yesterday. The child was rushed to Golisano Children's Hospital, and we just got an update from a city spokesperson who says that child is expected to have surgery today. The injuries are not expected to be life-threatening. We're told that on Sunday evening, last night, the Buffalo police detectives did execute a search warrant at the child's home. The investigation remains ongoing, and Erie County Child Protective Services has been notified and is actively involved in the situation. We have no details, though, about the circumstances surrounding the shooting or if anyone has been charged, but we will update you as soon as we learn more. A Medina man is set to be arraigned for murder and attempted murder charges after allegedly stabbing 2 brothers during some sort of fight in the town of Shelby over the weekend. 2 On Your Side's Rob Hackford has been following this case and joins us live in the newsroom this morning to explain what deputies are looking at. Good morning, Rob.
Yeah, good morning, Melissa. The Orleans County Sheriff's Office is still investigating why 36-year-old Aaron D'Angelo stabbed these 2 men at their shared home on South Gravel Road Saturday. Well, Sheriff Christopher Bork telling 2 On Your Side, well, they don't know the exact circumstances at this time. They believe D'Angelo and the 2 brothers got into an argument during which D'Angelo stabbed 67-year-old John Lang and 65-year-old Dal Lang multiple times. This all happened before deputies arrived, at which point the sheriff's office says D'Angelo confronted a deputy armed with a knife.
So upon arrival, the deputy approached the house and he was confronted with a male with a knife who came at the deputy. The deputy tased him, took him down. He still continued to want to fight, ended up in a physical altercation where the deputy was able to take him into custody. We're thankful, and I'm very thankful, that our deputy was able to take this individual into custody without being hurt.
Now, we saw investigators recover a knife and a cell phone from the snowy scene outside the home. Now, the sheriff's office says John Lang died at the scene despite the best efforts of EMS, and Dal Lang was taken to ECMC with serious injuries. We don't know his condition as of this morning. Well, the sheriff indicated that D'Angelo has a prior criminal history and remains in their custody at the Orleans County Jail. I'm told the sheriff's office will have more to share about his arraignment later this morning. On Your Side in the newsroom, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News. Melissa.
Yeah, really unusual case, and unusual for that area as well. We'll be following it closely. Rob, thank you. It is 9:04 on Daybreak, and an update now to a story that we've brought you Saturday morning. 3 men were stabbed, and 1 is now facing charges following an incident in Buffalo's Elmwood Village. Buffalo police say that officers responded to St. James Place around 3:30 Saturday morning. Police say the suspect is 23-year-old Jaden Morgan. They say the incident stemmed from an ongoing dispute that escalated when several people showed up at a home. A 20-year-old and a 22-year-old were stabbed and have serious injuries, but they are expected to survive. And Morgan now faces multiple charges, including assault and criminal possession of a weapon. Police say further charges may be filed as they continue to investigate what happened. Buffalo police have arrested a teen tied to a double shooting back in October on North Division Street. Investigators say 18-year-old Najim Mims has been charged with shooting a 17-year-old and a 46-year-old. One of the victims was allegedly driving a car at the time of the shooting and ended up crashing into a porch. Both victims were taken to a hospital for injuries. Mims has been charged with assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and reckless endangerment. And in Niagara Falls, father and son have been sentenced to a combined 50 years in federal prison for their involvement in a deadly drug conspiracy dating back to 2018. Levon Parks was sentenced to 30 years, and his father, James Parks, was sentenced to 20 years. This follows convictions on narcotics and firearms charges tied to the deadly shooting of 21-year-old Kevin Turner. Prosecutors say the men sold cocaine across western New York and were connected to a large drug trafficking operation that used the U.S. Postal Service. And this morning, one of two men involved in a disturbing incident at the Tops on Jefferson Avenue is set to be sentenced today. Ronnie Midget has already pleaded guilty, and faces up to 7 years in prison. In June of last year, Midget and Aveo Pena were found with loaded illegal ghost guns in their car. According to authorities, Pena pointed a gun at a driver in the Tops parking lot, and Midget will be sentenced in Erie County Court. Pena is scheduled for sentencing next month. The Buffalo Planning Board is holding public hearings today on two new projects in Buffalo. The former Luigi's Bakery at West and Forest Avenues could be transformed into a new medical office for Neighborhood Health Center of Western New York. And on Michigan Avenue, plans are under review for a $3.5 million three-story addition to the historic Michigan Street Baptist Church. Today's meeting will be held at City Hall at 4 p.m. Emotions are high a week after 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Tucson home. According to reports, the abductors are demanding $6 million by 5 p.m. today. Now, that ransom note included a threat to Guthrie's life if the deadline isn't met. And over the weekend, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie and her siblings made a plea in a new video.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
The Pima County Sheriff has not identified a suspect nor a vehicle. Investigators towed a blue SUV on Friday, and NBC News confirms it does belong to Nancy. Law enforcement officials were also at the home of Savannah's sister, Annie, on Saturday night. Story we'll be following closely for sure. All right, it's 9:08. It is -6 outside, and Patrick, we could be adding 40 degrees to that by tomorrow.
Yeah, we're actually up to -3. So numbers, we've doubled that -6 number. Well, -3. We've added 3 to it. But you're right. Think about the temperature now compared to how it's going to feel tomorrow afternoon. And you're right. That's like a 40-degree shift in terms of how it will feel. There will be no wind chill tomorrow afternoon. We'll be in the mid to upper 30s. We're currently at a wind chill right now of about 10 below zero. 3 below is the air temperature in Buffalo, 2 below in East Aurora, 1 below in Lockport. Look at that, the windmills, Melissa, are frozen.
Oh, no.
Look at
or
that.
they're just not on.
I think that's the case. That looks kind of funny.
It does look funny.
Anyway, windmills or windmeals? Jaguar or Jaguar?
Right.
So many vowels couldn't play tricks on us. All right, today we're going to see increasing clouds, 22 down to 16 tonight, but when you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll already be in the 20s, up to 37 tomorrow with some snow in the morning and then a little rain and snow mix in the afternoon. You'll see that on Future Look here in a second. There are the increasing clouds that you can see moving in from the northwest out ahead of this system here. That's going to bring in some warmer temperatures tomorrow and, again, some rain and snow showers. Yeah, hard to believe. How can you say -3 and rain in the same sentence, right? But that's how we're going to go. We're not talking about a downright rain. It's going to be kind of a mix. It may stay as all snow showers tomorrow, but with 37, maybe you get a little freezing rain mixed in. There we go. That's coming up for your Tuesday as that system gets closer. This is the latest run of Future Look. Temperatures do climb into the low 20s this afternoon. There they go. Then tomorrow morning, we will see a little batch of snow move through during maybe the morning commute, but it should wrap up. And then in the afternoon, a couple of rain and snow showers working through with temperatures in the mid-30s. I think more snow than rain, but we're not talking about a lot, but just the chance of a little bit of a mix. And then some snow showers again on Wednesday as high temperatures now fall off a little bit. There's another look at your current numbers. This afternoon, we're in the low 20s. Tomorrow in Buffalo, we're in the mid to upper 30s with that mix. And then on Wednesday, snow showers, high temperatures back into the 20s. So for today, we've got the early sun. The clouds will be increasing 22 degrees. Long range forecast does call for quiet weather to end the week. Snow showers on Wednesday. There is more evidence of a system for this weekend. It looks like a Sunday, Monday affair. We've got snow in there. However, the latest track of this next system may bring in a little warmer air too. So we may have to add a few raindrops to that snow mix on Sunday. Something we're watching, okay? This is a system that's been kind of on our radar for a while, but the position of it's been all over the place, but it's kind of coming more into focus. Long range forecast for the south towns in the southern tier. Snow showers on Wednesday, dry weather Thursday and Friday. Oh, I got to walk over to you.
Do you?
Oh, I'll go back to Melissa. I'll join you in a sec.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Patrick. I have so many questions for him. We'll be right back with Bud for Daybreak. Welcome back. Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champs after that dominant 29-13 win over the Patriots. Really a battle of the defense, though, yesterday. Seattle took an early lead with a field goal by Jason Myers, and then late in the game, Uchenna Nwosu's 45-yard interception sealed the victory for the Seahawks. Their defense, though, kept constant pressure on New England, limiting the Pats to just 13 points, while Coach Mike McDonald and the team celebrated their win with confetti and cheers. I thought of you in the beginning of the game. Did you see when they had their other Michael McDonald? They interviewed him?
No.
Yes, he made a quick appearance in the pregame lead up to.
I missed that. Wait, because there's two. Oh my, no way.
Yeah,
how did I miss
Yacht
that?
Rock Michael McDonald.
Right. I also got a little emotional too, personally, when they had Joe Montana out there, Roger Craig. These are the players that I grew up, watching as Super Bowl champions in the late 80s, early 90s with the 49ers. That was kind of cool, but I miss Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there. Okay.
Who needs Michael McDonald when we can have Patrick singing Yacht Rock? Overall, though, it just was not very fun to watch.
And the Patriots were completely outclassed. I mean, they did not belong there.
No.
They did not belong there.
No. They had a very easy schedule, which I think allowed them to get there.
And an easy playoff schedule.
Playoffs, especially when the teams that they were facing, many of whom did not have their starting quarterbacks. And I don't know. It's just I had absolutely no interest. I stayed up to watch the halftime show and went to bed after that.
Right.
Even the commercials
were not that
great.
No. Oftentimes they're water cooler talk for days and days, but I can't think of one that I was attached to.
No.
Except the one with Ben Affleck and
Goodwill Duncan.
Goodwill Duncan. That was pretty fun.
That was really funny. And there were so many stars in that, including Jason Alexander and
Joey.
And Joey from Friends, Steve Urkel from Family Matters. And then Tom Brady showed up. I'm like, well, even this is ruined.
It's like, really?
Nothing was fun yesterday.
Right.
Tom Brady's going to come and ruin that. But yeah, it just was hard, I think, as a Bills fan to sit there and think even the Seahawks looked beatable. So had it been the Bills.
They couldn't get into the red zone. They were just kicking field goals. Yeah, it's now, I think more than ever, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Brandon Beane, get us a wide receiver. Let's go.
Sure.
That's what we need. A couple of defensive pieces. We need a weapon on offense, and let's do this.
And I was
it's our
also
time.
wondering, if the Bills had been in it, like how many Bills fans
Oh.
would have traveled
Right.
to San Francisco, and it would have felt like a home game because.
Yeah, but it's
can
so
they afford
pricey.
it? Is
That's
so pricey.
so pricey.
Can they afford it?
And to stay there, the hotel costs are.
Yeah. Where is the Super Bowl next year?
Next year, it's in Lackawanna. No, I have no idea.
Sunny LA.
Wouldn't it be nice? Different California. No, I don't know. Here, let me look it up.
SoFi. Oh, it is.
What? Is it really?
SoFi Stadium is
No
what
way.
we're hearing from
Huh.
Milton.
Okay.
So-
That's still kind of Josh Allen turf if, he lives in Southern California now.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it'd be nice to escape to Southern California this time of year. Mm-hmm. Anywho,
Wait, didn't they already just have a Super Bowl?
I feel like they did.
Why? Some cities just benefit. Like we can never have a Super Bowl because I believe the stadium isn't quite large enough and we don't have the hotel space.
Right.
But the cities that do they reak the benefits of having a Super Bowl, and think of all the money it brings in.
parties and all
It's always
of the
Miami. It's
celebrities.
always New Orleans.
Cold weather-wise, there was New York City a
Right.
couple
Yep.
years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then there was
Minneapolis, but that was indoors. It's been in Detroit. That's indoors.
You wonder if the stadium in Orchard Park if they decided to have a dome.
You need the hotel space.
You do need that.
You need to have a certain amount of rooms, and we don't even come even close. Unless they open the Grand Hotel or some Statler, if that would help. But no, you need like so many thousands of rooms, and
Yeah.
we just don't have it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so speaking of Bills, with building the Bills' new coaching lineup, there's immense pressure on head coach Joe Brady to make the Bills better immediately so they can make a Super Bowl. But exactly how that'll look with him at the helm remains to be seen. We do know that Joe Brady will continue to call the offensive plays, but he has brought on Pete Carmichael as the offensive coordinator. So what exactly does that mean Carmichael will be doing if Brady is actually steering the ship? Well, here's what Brady had to say about it.
Pete game plans to call the game. Like it's not, I think sometimes people think like an offensive coordinator that's a God bless you, that's not a non-play caller, is just kind of like an assistant or like, hey, just getting everything ready for you. That's not what I was looking for, and that's not what Pete is. Pete is, if I ever, at any moment of the game, can't call the game, Pete is always prepared to call it. He goes through the week with the mindset of calling the game, preparing and doing everything that how Pete will prepare and do and go through this season is no different than me last season.
And Carmichael has extensive experience in this exact type of role. He's got it. He's been Sean Payton's right-hand man as the OC, dating back to those incredible years with Drew Brees in New Orleans and then continuing on recently in Denver.
And by the way, Melissa's favorite part of the interview?
The God bless you.
The God bless you. It was very real.
He really is real. And,
Yeah.
it creates a relationship with the reporters and staff in the room. And, it doesn't feel like he's too big to say God bless you. And I don't know. It's just so real. It was very endearing.
It piggybacks off his press conference, which I thought was very real and endearing. And so, yeah. Just sneeze freely in front of the coach. And he won't be offended.
And I know this isn't scripted, but talk to me about your Olympic experience over the weekend. What were you interested in watching? What were your thoughts?
I just, I turned it on, and I can't seem to figure out how to watch like Peacock, and like you can go to certain sports, so I just turned on Channel 2, right?
Okay.
And I watched figure skating, and of course, it's not my like favorite sport to watch, but it was hard not to watch because it was so good. The announcers and Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir were fabulous.
Yeah.
And I loved watching the quad god, who's American, but he's got the most Italian name.
Ilya Malolin.
Yeah. I was thinking like Kevin Rogers or Steve Jones, but you have this, and he looks like a prince, doesn't he? He looks like, the cover of a romance novel.
You're totally right about the flow.
The flow. And the quads that he did he had a little stumble early in his performance, but then he kind of made up for it.
Right,
and he
you
won.
were explaining it to me, but I love how Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir do break down how the scoring works, because it's a little complicated that he did not have a perfect performance at all, but he backloaded the performance with quads, which they count for more when they're later on in the performance, and so he's really tired, but also landing quads. But some of the quads he tripled, but it's still the score was weighted so much that he
and they said
did really well.
He skated angry because of that initial stumble. He was like, okay, no.
Right.
So he was like more aggressive. And
and
that was their
harder
term.
things later on.
They said that he's skating angry.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So that was for the team performance.
Right.
So they add up the scores of the ice dancing and the women and the men, and USA ended up winning the gold for team. Now they get to do it all over again, and they all skate for individual medals. So that'll be fun to watch. And today is ice dancing, and we saw the husband and wife ice dancers. And I saw a story online that NBC Sports posted about the moms of these two. Like, they started skating when they were young, 12, 13 years old, together as friends. And then you saw after one performance when they were teenagers, he whispered in her ear at the end of it, "I love you." Everyone could read their lips. And the moms were going nuts because the moms saw it, because it was all caught on camera. And then they started dating. And then they got married.
Your first words as a dating couple is "I love you"?
Well,
that's
yeah.
But I
mean, they had this friendship love, and then it turned into romantic love. But the moms grew up as, ice dancing moms, and now they're in-laws, and one gets really nervous, and one is more chill, and they have fun going on all the trips together. And so it's just fun to hear these backstories. And then to think that these are the best athletes in the world. They can compete against anybody.
Right.
And, work their whole lives to be here and have one moment to shine. And it's just it is very emotional. And then something like that, what happens to Lindsey Vonn?
Terrible.
Who, ruptured her ACL a week ago. No one thought that she would be able to go to the Olympics, and then she had her first run and she fell and broke her leg and had to
you wonder if
airlifted out of there.
If the ACL contributed to that fall, you don't know.
That was. She hit a post.
A post.
When she was going around, and she kind of lost her balance, and then just couldn't get back.
Correct.
From it. Just awful.
Yeah.
So, lots of Olympic moments. We're going to be watching Haley Skimura today. She is the Gettsville native and Nichols grad. She's on Team USA women's ice hockey. They've won their first 2 games. This is still the pool play, and it's their 3rd game today. They'll be playing Switzerland at 2:40 this afternoon. You can watch it on the USA Network or Peacock, and we'll give you highlights tomorrow morning on Daybreak. Stay with us. We'll have a lot more coming up after the break. All right, we'll talk a little Bandits now. For the first time in years, the Buffalo Bandits are chasing, not leading the NLL. After that historic three-peat, expectations were really high going into this season. But 7 games in, Buffalo now finds itself below 500, searching for answers after a loss to the Colorado Mammoth on Saturday.
Teams are always gunning for us. We've had so much success over the last few years that, of course, teams are going to always give us their best.
And the Bandits have another chance to redeem themselves. They'll be heading up to Halifax on Saturday, and they'll be playing at 7:30. I was at that game. It's a bummer. I've gone to all the games that they've lost this year. We actually got season tickets this year because the Bandits were so good. And it was hard to get season tickets. They're a hard ticket to come by. And now they're not doing very well. But it's still so much fun to watch. The crowd has so many great chants. The announcer during the game is so much fun and really hyping up the crowd to get into it. So I still feel like the Bandits can kind of turn things around, but it's just not the same. I mean, we used to leave every game and be seeing a winning team.
Right.
So, they play Halifax in Nova Scotia on Saturday, and then they come back here the following week, and they'll be playing back at home, hopefully turning things around so they can make it into the playoffs. And it's just so crazy, though, that these guys on this team
have other jobs.
Right. Some don't even live here. The Milkman is the nickname for one of the players, Farrell. I ran into him at a bar as he was bartending here because Dane Smith owns the bar Sandbaggers down in Hamburg. He opened it up as like another venture. And here was like another Bandits player bartending. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I have to make money. And so he was bartending for the other Bandits player's bar, but he lives in Long Island.
Interesting.
And he travels, and I'm like, when do you practice? And he's like, I practice with teams on Long Island.
Oh,
and
he comes here for the games.
He comes to Buffalo for the games, and then we'll fly out of Long Island to like go to Halifax.
No way. Huh.
It's just so strange. That's how these guys just do it for fun. They don't get paid very much at all. But
well, they do it for the. Well, it's kind of like what the NFL used to be like, where baseball, back in the early days, they didn't make a lot. Joe Namath did not make very much money.
No. Or
right?
Jim Kelly.
Or Jim Kelly, $1 million.
Right.
Compared to.
Who was it? Daryl Talley filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
And so, yeah, it's really sad that, you know, back in the old days, they didn't make money. And
right.
They certainly do now. All right. We're all over the place. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.